So welcome to this segment as we look at the chemistry 5070, paper 2 theory for 2024. So I'll go through a series of questions with you so that you can see how you needed to have answered this question. So A1 there says that a learner with a very long hair was wearing high-heeled shoes. Then give two risks she might be exposed to while conducting experiments in the laboratory. So remember, she has long hair, then she's also wearing high-heeled, shoes. So when it comes to, long hair, you find that, it could actually be exposed to maybe chemicals or even, catching fire, especially if, the experiment involves, if the experiment involves using a Bunsen burner. So we can simply say that, hair could, hair could catch fire or dip into, chemicals. So that's basically the risk that is associated. Then when it comes to high heels, so we can simply say that, high heels increases a risk of, slipping or imbalance on weight flows. So that's the idea that, it can happen. So such a person could actually, slip over, or there could be imbalance that could lead them to actually falling and injuring themselves further. So those are the risks that are associated. Then B says that matter can change from one state to another depending on the conditions and substance as shown in the diagram. So A, B, C represents different states of matter. So you can see, we can identify the different states of matter. B is representing a gas. If you look at C, that is representing a liquid because there are spaces there, and these are closely packed, and that is representing, a solid. So it states one, B1 says, which state of matter is represented by the letter C? So the letter C is representing, a liquid. So that is what they wanted you to do, as I've identified. Then what name is given to the change of state represented by the letter Y? So if you notice, if you look at the letter Y, you understand that the letter Y is simply the arrow is pointing from gas to solid. So from gas to solid, what does that indicate? Well, that indicates what we call as being sublimation. Yeah, others may simply call it as being deposition. That's what we may call it. Now it says, Roman 3, it says, give an example of a substance that can undergo the change you have stated in B2. Yeah, the common one that you can simply talk about is simply iodine crystals. So iodine crystals are able to basically sublime. It is possible that they can also sublime. Then we can also talk about, dry ice, yeah, which is, carbon dioxide. You can also talk about, ammonium. You can also talk about ammonium chloride. It can also, undergo sublimation, and many others. Then 4 says, describe what must be done in order to convert C to A. So in order to convert C, which is a liquid, back to solid, what do you need to do? So basically, what you can do is maybe remove heat. If you wanted, you could have said that, or you could simply say cool the liquid. So you cool the liquid until it freezes. Yes, we call it sometimes, if you want, as it solidifies. So this is what you could have actually done in this instance. So this is what they wanted you to do. Please watch out as we come and look at A2 in my next